Yes, I have the cutest dog in the world, and I also just finished this amazing book, Wealth and Poverty of Nations. I highly recommend this book. It's an amazing book if you like history, which for me, I'm not a personal development guy. I'm a history guy. I used to be a personal development guy. I just find that history reigns supreme. I'm going to read you the very last paragraph in this book, and man, did it hit home, okay? It's talking about comparative advantage, that the difference of wealth and poverty in nations, developing countries versus developed countries, the discrepancy of folks even living in the United States and in developed nations, and just the huge wealth gap that we see. And it's pretty doom and gloom. And then he drops this last paragraph that really hit home. He says, "Not easy. The people who live to work are small and unfortunate elite, but it is an elite open to newcomers, self-selected. The kind of people who accentuate the positive. In this world, the optimists have it, not because they are always right, but because they are positive. Even when they're wrong, they are positive. And that is a way of achievement, correction, improvement, and success. Educated, eyes open, optimism pays. Pessimism can only offer the empty consolation of being right. The one lesson that emerges is the need to keep trying. No miracles, no perfection, no millennium, no apocalypse. We must cultivate a skeptical faith, avoid dogma, listen and watch well, try to clarify and define ends, the better to choose means." And he ends it with a quote from Deuteronomy. I'm definitely saying that wrong. "I have set before thee life and death, the blessing and the curse. Therefore, choose life." If you are trying to change your life, whether it's through land investing or whatever the means, however you ended up on this video, I want you to come back to that. People will talk about how the odds are stacked against you, and like we all have different kind of a starting hand that we were born with. We all have different circumstances, but I've seen it time and time again. It's the optimists that win. I don't give a shit what your background is. There's always gonna be someone out there that has it worse than you. It just seems to be a law of life. But no matter where you're starting at, optimism is the path forward. There is no value in pessimism. I get these YouTube comments from people that say, this land investing thing must be a scam. Well, we have hundreds of students making multiple six figures or seven figures a year. And then there's these little loud voices in the comments saying that this must be a scam. And it just shows you the discrepancy in mindset out there, which helps to explain some of the discrepancy in the gap between wealth in a developed nation. Now, very, very different. We're talking about developing nations, but in the US, we all have similar tools at our disposal. I know a lot of people that's going to ruffle feathers, but frankly, you can find an internet connection and you can find education and you can change your life. I don't care if you're using the internet at the library or you're using your mom's hotspot on her cell phone to get on the internet. Nowadays, the scales have been much more balanced out, but optimism is what gets you going, and optimism is what keeps you in the game, because no matter what your starting point is, shit's going to be hard. That's just a law of life. Hey, what do you have to say for your behavior? So one of the things that I've done recently is hire a mobility coach. And for me, it's like anytime I want to get better at something, I think just finding the expert, paying the expert. I don't necessarily pay him for like the accountability, which I know some people probably need that. That wasn't like the real benefit to me. It was just the knowledge of saying, hey, these areas of my body are really tight. How do I open that up? I think there's a one-to-one parity with our mental state and our physical state. I think a lot of times it's easier to change our physiology than it is to change our mental state or our psychology. So if you're tight in the body, you're probably tight in the mind. And I was feeling a lot of tightness in my body, like 10 years of lifting and not taking mobility seriously. So trying to get better at it. I still suck. One of the big areas I'm working on are bridge rotations, like thoracic extension stuff, splits, hip stuff, and it's been really a fun challenge. So I try to carve out about 15 to 20 minutes every day for that, because again, I know my physiology influences my psychology. Now you're probably like, Sumner, what is this video? Am I going to learn anything here? Is this even relevant if I'm trying to become a successful land investor? Well, yeah, it is. I want you to stick around for the rest of this video, because I swear I'm going to drop some fire, but it's not going to come easily. You've got to watch this video to find the little nuggets throughout. And before we get into the nuggets, I want to make a quick shout out to all of the folks that have joined Leah in the last couple days, actually about the last week. Shout out to John for joining, shout out to Pravir and Peter, shout out to Diana, shout out to Brandon, shout out to Angie, shout out to Cole, shout out to Christopher, shout out to Scott, shout out to Mike, and last but not least, shout out to Zachary. That's all in the last 6 days. We're fucking changing the game, and you already know that. And as you guys know, we've just put a monthly enrollment cap, 15 people every month. That's it. If you want to get in the wave for January or February, we're already getting booked out for all of January. If you want to get on the list, landinvestor.co/apply. You got to talk to us to even have the opportunity to get added to our wait list. Again, we are taking a quality over quantity approach, and if you ain't the right fit, Bye-bye. All right, guys, so I am working on some new mailing campaigns. I hired a designer to kind of build out some new campaigns for us for new letters that we're testing as we move into 2024. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I've never been a great split tester. So we've got 4 different variations here, and we're going to split test all of them come January. We're going to send out about 25,000 mailers or so. So we're going to kind of break it down evenly for size on each mailer and just really track the results to see what the winner is. And we'll probably keep on split testing this. I'm just really trying to get a little more creative with our marketing. I've been using the same damn letter for years, and it's made us millions and millions and millions of dollars. But I think that there's some juice to be had from getting a little more creative and frankly just hiring people that are better at this stuff than me. So we've been working on that. I'm also getting ready for all of our data that's going to go out in January. So kind of pulling a lot of these markets. You might be like, Sumner, I thought you don't do that. No, I still pull the markets. I still review the markets. I still pull the markets because it's the top of the funnel for us. Everything streams down from it. And frankly, I kind of enjoy it. So for the new land investors here, when it comes to December, we usually really taper back our direct mail just because people aren't home. It gets lost in the shuffle. Our response rates are way lower. And we still have marketing going out. We don't stop marketing entirely, but we pull back on direct mail, and other channels stay about the same for us. But during December, we're still prepping all of our data to hit the ground running first week of January. January historically is a great month for us, both acquisitions and dispositions. And so we get all of our mailers prepped. We just kind of delay sending them, get those things kicked out like the 4th week of December. I'm going to show you exactly how I pick markets. Now, we used to have a team of VAs that would scrub the US and find all the markets for us. As you guys know, we're a big believer in demand, finding markets that have tons of liquidity. That was just super expensive. We were paying thousands of dollars a month, and frankly, we couldn't cover all of the US. So we actually built a software platform called landinsights.co that does just that. So I'll show you guys how we use this. And by the way, all seats are sold out, so you can't get access to it right now. If you go to landinsights.co, you can get on the wait list. Our next launch is coming in January. Okay, guys, so I'm going to show you exactly how I do this. So as you guys know, I'm a big believer in not having too much supply, and same thing with not having too little. So I typically go like 50 to 250 properties that are actively listed. So no less than 50, no more than 250. I know that like people get so obsessed with like the exact pinpoint metrics we use. Frankly, toggle around with it. Right? Like this is not perfect. You could go 50 to 300, you go to 40 to 200. Like it's okay, guys. I think everyone wants this silver bullet answer, and it just doesn't exist. Here's going to show us how many out-of-state owners there are. I'm not going to use that right now. I'm going to go to the pending sell-through rate. So that means with how much supply is on market, how much of that's actually pending, like under contract. So I did 10%. So if there's 100 properties listed, I want at least 10 properties that are actively under contract. That's kind of our floor. And then typically on the 6 month, I mean, I love to see things that have 100% sell-through rate in 6 months. So that means every 6 months, 100% of the current inventory is selling through. And boom, you see on the heat map here, it shows us what counties actually have these metrics. Pretty fucking cool. Literally categorize the entire US to where you just put in your metrics and you get answers. And that's allowed ourselves and our users to find the best of the best of the best markets. Like we're in a slowdown in the land market right now, but we still have people selling their deals in a day, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because we find these markets that don't have too much supply and have tons of demand. And that's how we play the game. And in January, we got some really cool stuff launching that's going to kind of help give pricing information. We're also doing all of this for zip codes, so you can get really granular with your searches. Currently, this is built on top of Tableau. So as we move into V2, which is releasing in the spring of next year, shit's about to get crazy. Just you wait and see. And I swear this is not a pitch, but here's the website, landinsights.co. The reason I'm saying this is you go to our website right now, you can get access to our free 7-figure market selection program. All you got to do is click join now, totally free. And you guys can see exactly how we do our market selection.
Focusing on recovery, focusing on getting enough sleep. Baby.
Okay, so I just took delivery this week of this new BMW M2 competition. Super fun car, but I want to tell a little bit of a story. So I had a Tesla SUV. Fortunately, I got in a car accident with the girl behind the camera. She was hit by someone. The car got totaled. I love that car. It's a great daily driver. So comfortable, so smooth, so quick. But I love driving. I love the emotional experience of rolling through gears and hearing the motor. And a Tesla just doesn't give you that, right? And the car got totaled. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe this would be like a blessing in disguise. I'll go and pick up something that I really want. Maybe I'll go through my little, like, kind of live my childhood dream for a minute. So I was looking at like a 2015-14 R8. I was looking at a McLaren 570S. Stuff that's like kind of like a baby supercar. And I couldn't make up my mind. I was just going back and forth. And I started kind of trying to find something that like just gave me that childlike wonder and that childlike awe. And when I was in high school, I was obsessed with BMW E46 M3s. It was my favorite car. I wanted one so bad. I obviously couldn't afford one. They were like 15 to 20 grand at the time. But I would just come home from school and watch YouTube videos of people driving them, POV videos. I'd go look on Craigslist every day, Facebook Marketplace. I was obsessed. My mom had a little Volvo at the time. We were sharing a car at 17. And I would drive around in that thing and I'd pretend that it was a 6-speed E46 M3. I'd pretend like I was rolling through the gears. I would just like imagine what that felt like. So I kind of was like, maybe I should get an E46 M3. And I started looking at them. I'm like, it's a little too old, a little too outdated, an awesome car, but not a daily driver. And then I found this thing. This thing is like an homage to the E46 M3. This thing is what BMWs used to be. It's small, it's compact, it's so nimble, it's so playful, it's so quick. And a lot of these modern cars, especially BMWs, have just gotten so big, and they're like driving boats. Like, part of the joy of driving a car is it's got to be fast, it's got to have a lot of theatrics to it, it's got to be small, and it's got to be nimble, and ideally it's got a 6-speed gearbox. That's fucking hard to find nowadays. You don't find a lot of cars with 6 speeds in them anymore. And this car has just given me that childhood wonder. It's brought me back to that 17-year-old Sumner who so badly wanted the E46 M3. And while it's not an E46, it's the closest fucking thing you can get on the market today. An amazing car, suffice to say. So I wanted to share that with you. For all my car geeks out there, you'll know what I'm talking about. As you start to come to the age where you can, afford the childhood dream cars, it's like that's what you want. You want to go buy those cars that were on your poster wall as a kid, and this is kind of like the modern equivalent to that. I'll show you guys what a Neanderthal I am. So I literally handwrite all the markets I'm targeting. I go through here, I put them on a list, and I break down which ones out of that list are the best of the best, right? So this kind of filters everything in the US, and then I put it on a list and I filter it even further. Because in my opinion, good markets are just relative. Relative to what? Relative to other markets. So I whittle down the list of the best in the US, and then I pit them up against each other. There's about 20 markets on this list, right? I'm not gonna attack all those markets right now. So out of that list right now, based off of pending in the last 30 days, and how much supply, which one's the best, right? And so out of this list, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 that are A1 grade A markets that we'll be planning to drop mail to in Q1. I kid you not, this whole process, selecting 20 markets and 10 grade A markets, took me 30 minutes, right? I fly them on Land Insights, I pop them into Redfin just to kind of scroll around, look at what kind of inventory is selling, look at how many off-market sales there are, look at the supply, kind of break it down, get a little more of a vibe for what's going on in that market, and then I put them on my list, and I use Land Vision or Data Tree to go and actually export that data. All right, we're off in the grocery getter to get some Christmas gifts and groceries. Oh my goodness, it's the cutest dog in the world. Oh, Bubba. All right, just finished Christmas shopping, Whole Foods groceries for the week, building out my battle plan for the week. You guys have heard me talk about that a ton in these videos. And what I'm gonna do here as well is do a bit of journaling. Now, journaling is an incredible modality. It's a way to organize thoughts. It's a way to take thoughts out of your brain so they no longer just kind of float around and occupy space. It's cathartic. It's something that I should probably do more often. And really what's been weighing on my heart or my chest or however you want to phrase it is this idea of not being able to accept. I'm so grateful for all of the growth and progress in my life, but what's come with that is this feeling of the stakes getting bigger and bigger and bigger, both with more people on our team, with all of our Leah members, within our own business, within Land Insights, like all these different balls that we're juggling, and just feeling like the highs get higher and the potential lows can get a whole lot lower, and there's a razor thin margin from fucking up. And if you've ever ran a business, you felt that before. So magnify that by 3 businesses, and it has taken a toll, honestly. And I think anyone that has that entrepreneurial kind of edge to them, typically you're type A, you want to control everything, you want all the variables to kind of fall in line exactly how you want them to. And frankly, that's just fucking not life. And so I've been asking myself these questions around, well, what does the worst case scenario look like? Like the Stoics talk about, right? What is that worst case that you're so afraid of? And if that happened, how would you approach that? Now, worst cases in these situations is small shit, right? Having investors lose money on one of our flips, or letting someone down inside Leah and having someone that doesn't have a good experience, or maybe not reaching the goals that we thought we could reach, or worse, letting people down on our team, or having to let go of people. And there's not real cause to think this, but it just sits in the back of my mind all the time. And I think it's a powerful motivator. I think fear is a very powerful motivator, but it also takes its toll. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is I've been journaling about acceptance and trying to understand what it actually looks like. What am I so fucking scared of? And I've realized, dude, a lot of it's not even beliefs that I hold within myself. It's beliefs from my parents and from my family. The scarcity around going back to where I started, or going broke, or having the worst case scenario happen. And that really comes more on my mom's side. And then on my dad's side, this idea of not being good enough, always trying to chase perfection and just never getting there, and always feel like I'm personally falling short. I'm just in all regards not good enough. And it's interesting to see how that stemmed so much into my work. And I think, again, it's been a powerful motivator. It's allowed me to go from a little amoeba to something a little bit bigger than an amoeba. But as I grow and as I learn, I start to recognize that I don't want to hold other people's baggage. I don't want to walk around this earth with other people's beliefs that aren't even mine. And so it's interesting how you can come to, pen and paper with a thought or a feeling, and then it's just like this little thread you pull on, and it really starts to unwind, and you get to the meat of the issue. And a lot of times it's something that you never even forecasted. I start talking about acceptance, or start writing about acceptance, and I start thinking about these beliefs that I'm holding on that are others, and yada 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 yada. So look, I'm human. If you're going through it in your business or personally, or you're feeling the weight of responsibility, I'm right there with you. And frankly, the responsibilities never change. You can't evade that. I used to think when my business got so big, I'd be so far removed from it and just be like this cash flowing asset that I'd have nothing to do with. No, that shit still weighs on your chest, whether you're in the day-to-day or not. It's always going to be there, at least the responsibility. So then it's a game of, well, how do I level up as a person to better handle what life is always going to throw my way? And I think it comes down to 2 important things. One, it comes down to identifying what are my beliefs, and am I holding on beliefs that aren't even mine? So figuring out what you actually fucking believe in. And that's a hard question to answer. Most humans, including myself, we don't even really know what we believe in. We just adopt other people's beliefs and we call them ours. And the second thing is radical acceptance, releasing this need to control, and just understanding that whether you're religious or not, there's a plan for you. There's something out there for you that you need to let unfold. And you are in the fucking woods, and you're mistaking the woods for the forest, or however that term goes. When the higher power, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, they see the full map. They know where you're going, and they're guiding you along that journey. And for me, that takes a huge load off myself. I feel like a deep breath, man. So anyways, guys, I don't know if this video was helpful at all, or insightful, or fun, or interesting. If it was, give it like a little comment down below, maybe a thumbs up, something to let me know this actually resonated with someone. And hopefully it's a peek behind the curtain of what a normal Sunday looks like in my life, and the trials and tribulations that I go through daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually. That shit's always there. And so if you're going through it, know you're not alone. If you ever need someone to reach out to, I'm always here. You can drop me a message inside Discord or in the comments down below, or send me an email, sumner@landinvestor.co. If you're going through it, I'm here. If it's related to land, I've most likely gone through it too. So yeah, I got a shoulder you can lean on. All right, guys, take care. Thank you for watching. Much love.